The role of the teacher is to create the conditions for invention rather than provide ready-made knowledge. The principal goal of education in schools should be creating men and women who are capable of doing new things, not simply repeating what other generations have done. The essence of creativity is figuring out how to use what you already know in order to go beyond what you already think. You cannot teach today the same way you did yesterday to prepare students for tomorrow. If we were to combine these constructivist thought leaders' ideas, we could say, effective teaching is an active process in which a learner takes responsibility for making meaningful connections, and the teacher guides the learner in making those connections through the creation of significant learning environments. While this constructivist summary of learning is appealing, research and most people's practical experience would confirm this unfortunately doesn't really reflect reality. We proclaim the progressive constructivist rhetoric of Dewey, but in our educational systems, we still use the centuries-old practice of information transfer and standardized testing established by Thorndike. But what if we did more than talk the constructivist talk and actually walk the constructivist walk? What would that look like? It would look like the Digital Learning and Leading program at Lamar University. In the DLL program, we've moved beyond the rhetoric by creating significant learning environments in which we give learners choice, ownership, and voice through authentic learning opportunities. Rather than continue with the rhetoric, we hope the following comparison between CSLE and COVA and the traditional information transfer model will help you understand what to expect in a constructivist learning environment. The DLL program is all about authentic learning opportunities. Everything you do in the DLL program will be something you do in your real world. Your innovation plan and all that is involved in making your plan happen will happen in your organization. With CSLE plus COVA, learners are given the opportunity to select and engage in authentic or real world learning experiences that enable them to make a genuine difference in their own learning environments and their communities. In contrast, with the traditional approach, teachers focus on the delivery of the curriculum and strive to cover the required content that students will be tested on. When projects are used, they are most often closely controlled by the teacher and seldom have an authentic or real-world impact. With the CSLE plus COVA, learners have the freedom to choose everything: their learning experiences, the innovation project, the platforms, the presentations. Don't worry, learners aren't left on their own. We use guided discovery to provide guidance and help the learner make wise choices. In contrast, in the traditional model, teachers dictate how the students are to do everything: perform, organize, structure, and present information and learning experiences. The teachers do provide a choice, or if they do provide a choice, it's often only a selection from a predetermined list. With the COVA plus CSLE, learners are given control and ownership over the entire process, including the selection of projects, the e-portfolio process, and all their learning tools and resources. In contrast with the traditional model, teachers have full control over the learning process, the selection of the assignments, the tools, and resources. With the CSLE plus COVA, learners use their own voice to structure work and ideas and share their insights with the real world. In contrast with the traditional model, teachers require students to emulate and replicate predetermined structures. Students share their work with the teacher and, if allowed, with their classmates. With the CSLE plus COVA, the e-portfolio is owned by the learner and is used to organize, manage, and share all aspects of the learner's authentic learning experiences. In contrast, if e-portfolios are used at all, they are most often assessment-focused, and students are required to use tools assigned by the teacher to deposit content that only administrators will see. With the CSLE plus COVA, the learner's needs are the starting point. The learner is not only an active participant in the learning process, they are required to take control and ownership of their learning. In contrast, with the traditional model, students responsibility is to regurgitate state and teacher approved content and show that they're able to replicate assignment examples and processes. With a CSLE plus COVA, the instructor functions as a facilitator, a coach, and a mentor, and is responsible for creating significant learning environments that promote the learning. They are required to provide guided discovery, scaffolding, and the conceptual framework mapping to facilitate learning. In contrast, with the traditional model, the teacher is the presenter of the curriculum, the content, the processes, standards, and functions as a gatekeeper to confirm that students can replicate those standards. With a CSLE plus COVA, the learner is encouraged to fail quickly and fail forward in order to accept the fact that errors and error correction are a natural part of the learning and growth process. In contrast, with the traditional model, teachers require students to provide the right answer, and there is very little tolerance for errors and failure. With the CSLE plus COVA, formative strategies like feedback, feed forward, and from a trusted mentor help the learner to align outcomes and activities and are the key to achievement. In contrast, with the traditional model, feedback is summative and used to show the student what they got wrong and where they missed the standards. With the CSLE plus COVA, because of the diverse nature of authentic learning, rubrics must be flexible enough to allow for a diversity of projects. Satisfying audience needs, solutions to real-world problems, and effective communication are key factors to promote creativity. In contrast, with the traditional model, rubrics are used as prescriptive checklists that precisely dictate all aspects of the student's assignment and must be closely aligned to the curriculum standards. These rubrics leave very little room for creativity and personal expression. As you can see, there is quite a difference between the genuine constructivist environment and the way we do traditional schooling. The traditional model has served us well for the past century, but as we move into the 21st century, the problem of information delivery has been solved. We can now move forward into creating significant learning environments where we give learners choice, ownership, and voice through authentic learning opportunities. By doing so, we can finally answer Dewey's challenge.